My name is Liz, and my daughter had a stroke when she was 10, or nearly 11, in 2008. My daughter was on a school ski trip when she collapsed and was helicoptered to hospital. It turned out, we found out later, that she'd torn an artery leading up to her brain, which caused a clot. However, when she initially collapsed, the clot, it was like a mini stroke, because although she had all the classic stroke symptoms, face, left hand weakness and so on, she started to recover. The hospital did a CT scan, but that didn't show any damage at that stage, and discharged her fairly quickly. I stayed in France with her because she wasn't well enough to come home, and during that time I took her to the doctor several times. I was very worried. We got her home, and this was 10 days after the mini stroke. In fact, the day she came home, she had a massive stroke and was taken to a big teaching hospital in London. Unfortunately, at that hospital, they also failed to diagnose a stroke. Again, at this point, she was becoming increasingly paralysed, but she had all the classic stroke symptoms, and she ended up in that hospital for nearly 5 months because she was unable to walk and had to relearn to walk again, and has permanently lost the use of her left hand and arm, and has some other problems as well. There were no signs that there was nothing wrong with her before she had the collapse when she was skiing, the first mini stroke. She'd always been a really, really healthy child. She was fit, she ran, danced, skied, sailed, great ballet dancer, cycled, all things that she can't really do anymore. I think it's fair to say that Eliza has really suffered because of the stroke. She's been left with quite severe physical disabilities. She's got some problems with memory and processing. She also suffers from fatigue and sometimes gets depressed and has lost confidence and so on. So all the normal things that she might have hoped to enjoy as a teenager, some of them she's been able to do, but a lot of things, for example, sport, or keeping up with friends all the time, finding school work straightforward. These things have all been really difficult for her. She's done very well, but everything's been much more of a challenge than it would have been otherwise. I think the impact of child stroke on any family is always devastating. The shock, you've got a previously healthy child, and suddenly you're in a world of dealing with hospitals and disability, long-term rehab, educational problems potentially. There's a whole host of things that it impacts on, and of course the other children in the family tend to get less attention if the parents are focusing very much on the child who suddenly acquired major disabilities. There was a certain amount of advice and support, obviously, from the medical team when she was in hospital, and from the therapists after she was discharged, and many of whom have been really good and supportive. But what was difficult was really finding other families and other children in similar position. There was less on the internet, and there weren't groups like Facebook groups and so on set up then. And so other parents and I have done a lot of work to bring other parents in touch with each other and share lots of information and advice. The guidelines and the booklet, which are being issued by the Royal College of Paediatrics and Child Health, and the Stroke Association are going to be really, really important. In producing them, the college has brought together all the top experts from the UK and has reviewed all the literature and the research to find out what's the best way to diagnose, treat and rehabilitate children who have a stroke, but also the best ways to support families, put people together and manage all the different transitions, for example, from hospital to school, from school to college, possibly from different stages in the medical journey as well. So I think both will be really, really helpful.